Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Chef podcast where we make a meal out of movies. I'm your host, Tebbs. This week bringing you a monster-sized battle-in edition of the podcast with Godzilla versus King Kong. With me as always is my executive host, Mr. Slimline Cormac, living it large in his garage. How are you today, my friend?
I'm fine. I've just got one question for you before we start all this.
Go on.
Who do you think has the bigger penis? Not me and you, but Kong and Godzilla. Oh, hold on.
Godzilla's a girl.
No, is it not
think
like a
she is.
girl, but it's like, what do you call them ones that procreate with themselves? Like a worm. What do you call it? What do you call it?
I could have said about 4 or 5 different answers to that question and we could have got banned for every one of them.
What do you call it? What do you call it when you have sex with yourself? And
Asexual. Asexual.
Asexual. That's right. Godzilla's asexual, isn't he? She.
Are you allowed to say that?
The question still stands. Who has the biggest cock? All right, that's
right.
Just say King Kong. His name's King Kong. Yeah.
It's obviously King Kong, and all I could think watching this was, "Where's all the monkey dicks?" I'm that obsessed with penises. I'm watching it, and he's sat on the boat. I've been to a safari park. We'll get into this. Welcome to the podcast. I've been to a safari park where a monkey has sat on my wing mirror
and it came all over me.
Erupted on my face. He was sat there, and his gentleman's piece was full display. Now, it was sat the same way that Kong was sat on that ferry.
But, like, you have a cat, I have a cat, right? If your cat hasn't been, like, the balls taken away, the penis is still there, right? Because they take the balls off, they don't take the penis off. Yeah.
Okay,
I've
never seen the cat's penis.
Well, that's what I'm going to say to you. I've never seen. I've had many a cat right now. I'm not looking for the cat's penis, but what I will say is I have never actually seen a cat's penis either. So I don't know whether it's like, does it
we're
like
4 minutes into the Godzilla versus King Kong episode and we're talking about cat's penises. But look, I've got a lot to say about this film. I really, in fact, let's get into it. Okay, so everyone, Godzilla versus King Kong. We've got the news and the trailers coming up later on. But first, we're getting straight into this bad boy of a film. Right. So Adam Wingard has directed Godzilla vs. King Kong. It's been delayed numerous times, pandemic, reshoots, etc. It's obviously coming as part of this MonsterVerse from Warner, which is following on from 2014's Godzilla King of the Monsters, not Queen of the Monsters. Yeah. So asexual, but yeah, they call him King. Who am I to judge? And then Kong Skull Island, which was the sort of Vietnam era set film with King Kong. So I don't actually know what you think of this film. We don't text each other usually. We at the first it were like, "Oh, this film's fucking wicked. We're going to talk about this on the podcast," and it slowly developed this relationship into, "I'm not going to say anything until we start recording."
Yeah, I can't remember where that stopped, because what we used to do is we used to like constantly WhatsApp each other and talk to each other, throughout the week about movies, but we just stopped talking about them throughout the week, and this is the only time we talk about them. I actually surprisingly quite enjoyed this movie. One thing that annoys me about most of these movies is I don't think that we get enough bang for our buck. We don't get what we ask for. It's very much like the Batman versus Superman movie. You want Batman versus... Yes, of course, we have to have story and plot and all that bullshit in between it. Like, yeah, I get it. We have to build the narrative and we got to fucking have, our allotted 25 half an hour time of Millie Bobby Brown because they paid her to be in the movie. But I really, 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 really enjoyed it. There's obvious, plot errors. I get that. There's obvious things in it, but this kind of movie, monster movies, should be leave your fucking brain at the door and just wait for King Kong and Godzilla to have a fight.
For me, this was two films merged together. Mm-hmm. One, absolutely ball-busting, fist-pumping, fantastic, everything Batman versus Superman should have been. Two titans going at it in the most incredible set pieces we've probably seen in the last few years. And the other half was the humans. Yeah. And it was fucking awful. I'm sorry. Anytime a human came on, bar maybe Rebecca Hall, who had some sort of, I mean, not I won't even go as far as to say character development, but she had something interesting about her character. Rebecca Hall, fantastic actress. But the Millie Bobby Brown stuff, the crazy the crazy podcaster, what a wanker he must be.
About who
The
actually listens to podcasts anymore, huh?
Yeah, fucking hell, well, please, if our listeners could write in and tell us who listens. There was Carl Chandler, who has obviously appeared in the Godzilla franchise leading up to this, was sidelined to man worried about Millie Bobby Brown in a tent. That was pretty much his involvement in this film. There was nothing the humans did. I could go as far as to say, I mean, Alexander Skarsgård, I didn't even know who he was halfway.
Yeah.
Apparently he's a geologist. I didn't even get that. It turned from geeky book author about some conspiracy theory into all action superhero, and I've got no idea where that came from. I think for me, the biggest human disappointment, if that's a phrase, was Julian Dennison. I thought he was going to be something different about this. So this is the guy who played Josh. He's appeared in Hunt for the Wilder People, Deadpool 2. He's got a very unique look. He's got a very unique charm about him. I thought he was going to.
He's not. He's the same character in every single movie.
Well, now he is. Now he is. You know what I mean? In the stuff I've seen, I've only seen a couple of his films, and for me, he's always stood out as, you know, the one sort of almost natural sort of comic timing for a young actor, something different. His looks completely different to what you see in these films normally, and in this, he was relegated to the guy that follows around screaming about Transformers and the kid who just Shia LaBeouf sort of thing. It was awful.
But the whole way watching this movie, I felt that I was missing something, because the way that they were talking. So obviously, the way that the story starts, Kong is in, this dome that they're keeping him in, and he knows that he's inside some fucking VR containment. So he keeps, throwing trees and breaking the fucking VR containment thing.
And we will say, if you haven't already guessed, spoilers coming up for Godzilla vs. I can't believe we've got to say it on a podcast called Godzilla vs. Kong. But spoilers for everything moving forward.
But they missed one vital thing in at the start of this, right? And it's every once in a while that video printer stuff will come up going Jakarta, but whatever. At the start of it, Kong containment. Why didn't they fucking call it Kongtainment?
Kong.
Like, how is that a missed opportunity in a movie? Like, it's Kongtainment, not Kong containment.
For me, why didn't they just? Look.
But yeah, sorry. It makes me feel. Every time I'm watching this movie, it makes me feel like I've missed something, because they jump from one set piece to the next with the humans, and it's like they go to the Skarsgård, and he explains Hollow Earth, and then the guys fucking talk to him about getting there, and then he's all excited about Hollow Earth because his brother died in Hollow Earth. Right. And then he jumps to the VR to talk to the doctor about getting Kong, and she's like, "Oh, so reluctant. Oh, yeah, okay, You can have Kong. You can take fucking King Kong, this 350 feet, tall ape, wherever you want. Yeah, go for it. Why not?" It just seemed to me that I was missing. I thought, because I obviously haven't seen King of Monsters, that I've missed beats from that movie that have come into this. And
you know what? In fact, we'll come on to that in a minute. I think there is a couple of bits that you might have been looking at this going, how the fuck is that happening? And they would have been explained in the previous film. But likewise, I fully agree with you, because the one thing that stood out for me and my mate that I was watching this with, when you're watching the beginning, Godzilla at the end of King of the Monsters was literally reigning supreme. Godzilla's the king. Everyone loves him. The world loves Godzilla. Godzilla is here to protect us. Literally, the first thing that we see is Godzilla attacking. There's no explanation. There's not even a setup as to Godzilla sort of becoming agitated as to why they would attack. It feels like we've missed about 20 minutes of setup as to explaining why Godzilla's suddenly attacking Hong Kong or wherever. And Adam Wingard has come out this week and said there's probably 5 hours worth of material that he filmed.
No,
cut it down. Yeah,
no,
but he doesn't. No, but he doesn't want to, because he says the film that he releases is his vision. It's his film, so it's 2 hours long or whatever it is. It's good length. But for me, it just goes back to, shouldn't a filmmaker be able to tell their story in 2 hours? Why does a filmmaker have to make a 5 hour long film and chop it up that much to fit into a 2 hour runtime that it don't become anything?
But do you
There's
think?
gaps everywhere. Why not just make a cohesive story to start with?
But do you think it's because of people like us? Do you think it's because, yeah, that fucking tossers to talk about these movies? Because, like, yes, I can complain as much about, the story seeming that I've missed a few beats, and everybody is just always so accepting of everything. Like the fact that the little girl in this movie, who was absolutely fantastic. I don't know her name, but she was fucking amazing in it.
Yep.
She's a deaf girl who communicates with that girl through sign language. But the amount of situations that they put this wee girl into that
Oh,
they
Jesus.
know are fucking dangerous. Like genuinely, she's allowed to walk into Kong's pen whenever she wants.
See, this is the thing, and again, major spoilers coming up now, but that girl was Kaylee Hottle. She is from an all deaf family spanning 4 generations. So she's actually deaf and from an all deaf family, which I think is quite impressive that, they don't just hire any old actress and pretend that they've got a disability. Hello, see ya. But you're absolutely right.
Leave her
This
alone.
child,
Leave
this
her.
child,
She had to delete her Twitter account. Leave her alone.
this child, so she spends that long alone in containment with Kong. She can teach him sign language, fully
Yep.
interactive with complex structured sentences.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
that.
open
I didn't get that one. I would understand it if it was like yes, no, but
yeah,
hello, Kong. Would you like some McDonald's drive-through breakfast this morning? Why, yes, little girl who's
the,
taught
the,
me how
lit-
to speak.
they're literally in the Arctic, and she goes up to him, Kong, don't you think you should consider going down that hole? Wouldn't it be a conundrum for you to understand that your mother and father may be down there? They may not be, but who knows? And he's looking at her like, I see what you are saying.
She's
Thank you for
right.
bringing this to my attention. It's just such it just and they're on the boat then and the kid's walking towards and she's like, shit, we better not let her go near him. You've just been letting him babysit her for the last fucking year. What?
Yeah. They're in containment together. She's allowed to go whenever she wants. Then they move her to the boat, and he is chained to the boat. Like he seems to be cognitive as well. I don't particularly get why he can't break those chains either. Like they didn't explain as to why he couldn't break the chains. And then as soon as Godzilla's on the horizon, they let the chains go, and he's able to magically break the chains that are around his neck. Like, hold on. He can't break the chains that are on his arms, but he can break. This makes it up. But anyway, yeah. So
But anyway, look.
she's allowed to walk out on the deck of the ship. And they know that there's a vast, like, the whole point is at the start of the movie they say that Godzilla is attracted to other titans. He is attracted because I don't know what they can feel. They can feel energy. They can feel whatever. So
Yeah.
their whole purpose is to stay out of the shipping lanes where Godzilla usually goes. And I'm sitting there thinking, but surely he's going to be able to fucking sense this Titan. Like, I don't understand what the whole. So they know that Godzilla's going to, at one point, be a threat to this fleet.
Yeah.
But still, little girl's right on the boat.
Yeah, you know what? That little girl, again, we're going back to that little girl, and I can't for the life of me remember her character name. I can't remember any of these characters. I really can't.
I can remember a few of them. Not an awful lot, but I can remember a few.
So the young girl was Gia, and I was counting along. So she's basically allowed to run around for many months in containment alone. They take her on the boat, which would attract a Godzilla at any one point. Mm-hmm. They take her to the Arctic.
Yeah.
Or the Antarctica, wherever the fuck they take her, right? They then decide, let's get her in one of these pods and let's take her to the center of the earth.
Yeah, where there could be millions of Titans, where there could be like a plethora of fucking shit that could happen to anybody. And do you know what the best thing is as well? they're taking vehicles to go to the center of the Earth, down to the Hollow Earth, that none of them have ever known before. Like it's this was it Apex Systems? They've built these ships to go down into the Hollow Earth, so none
And
of the other researchers have ever seen them before.
now, again, this touches on the last film where there was a suggestion that there were tunnels linking the Earth through the core. And I know that's how they thought Godzilla was hiding, or they couldn't trace him because Godzilla was in one of these tunnels in the Earth's core. And this built on that, where they suggested, look, it's fucking insane, but let's just
Where's
agree.
Godzuki? Where's Godzuki?
That's the
That's
next
what I
one.
want to know.
Son of Kong versus Godzuki. That's where we're going with these. So, in terms of the human characters, then, is there anything that sort of stood out for you? Gia, the little girl, obviously.
I think Kyle Chandler should have gotten a bigger part. He just seemed to be the kind of reluctant kind of dad to Millie Bobby Brown. I think Gillian Dennison, having watched, Deadpool 2 and having watched Hunt for the Wilder People and even that fucking Santa Claus 2 thing that's on Netflix, he's a very good actor. And to be relegated to Millie Bobby Brown's fucking mouthpiece,
Yeah.
he is that character. He is the character. Damn, he is that character.
Yeah. In this, he was, and that's what I was getting to earlier. Deadpool 2, it felt like it was more, he was being more sort of improv, sort of, coming up with lines on set, being given free rein to really be himself and really sort of try and be, funny with the character. And this reduced him to, oh man, I should have stayed in bed. That kind of, I should never have come here. Oh man, what are you doing to me? It's like, fuck off. Just Millie Bobby Brown, right? How do I put this? Why?
I think I asked you that question to start.
Who is Millie Bobby Brown? Where is Millie Bobby Brown? Why is Millie Bobby Brown? What did she bring to this film?
The only answer to all those questions is Stranger Things. That's it.
Right. Okay.
That's it. It's like, it's like putting a fucking YouTuber in a movie nowadays. Because Netflix is everywhere. Like fucking 2.5 billion subscribers, stuff like that there. Stranger Things has been watched by, potentially 400 to 500 million people worldwide. Yes, I agree. I completely agree that, people like that, if who is the most popular person in that TV show, should get a shot at making movies. But if you're going to put her in a movie, at least give her something that is a bit different as to what she does on Stranger Things, because literally every time I watch her, it is like watching her be 11. Like, that's it.
Yeah. So what did her and Julian Dennison and this podcaster bring to the film? Because this is what I wanted. I wanted human characters. And from watching this, so you're watching Josh, you're watching Bernie, and you're watching Madison run around. And basically it was their job to find, again, big spoilers, Mecha Godzilla. And ultimately,
they didn't ultimately know that they were getting Mecha Godzilla.
No, all they knew is they were following up on some crazy guy's conspiracy theory podcast, and they happened to get, well, did they happen to get lucky, or was it a crazy conspiracy? I don't know, but it led them around the right path. And all they were there for was to be in that room at that last minute to turn the satellite off. And I think when you, but go on, if you've got anything more, because the last thing I want to say.
My thing is that, like, it was a bit, watching this, it was a bit like, trying to debunk conspiracy theories within the script, because they keep talking about the Hollow Earth, which is a fucking thing that people, online have conspiracy theories about the Hollow Earth, and there's also, the whole podcasting thing. So Brian Henry, who plays Bernie, he's the podcaster. So Millie Bobby Brown stumbles or whatever, finds this podcast, and Bernie is working as an engineer in Apex Systems, down low-level employee, but he has the ability to, download bits of information and then release it on his podcast. But she is like completely drank the fucking Kool-Aid when it gets to this conspiracy theory with this guy. Like, yeah, I don't know what she was like in the first movie. If they've led the path where maybe she's a bit of a conspiracy theorist in the first one, or and all this jazz, then I can accept it.
Right, she wasn't in Godzilla. In King of the Monsters, she
That's what
was
I mean. Yeah, King of Monsters. Yeah,
she was the daughter of
Kyle Chandler.
Chandler, and obviously her mother. Oh, I can't remember who played her in the. I'll look it up in a minute. But basically, she was her mother was some sort of scientist trying to talk to the Titans, and she ended up basically turning heel and joined the eco-terrorists who wanted to release all the Titans. And she's saying it was good for the Earth and all this. So Madison ended up getting dragged between set piece to set piece, and ended up really going through a trauma that no child should have to. Is in the middle of Boston being blown up and destroyed, all because of a mother. And it always gets me, where you watch films like this where Madison has literally been talking to her dad, Cal Chandler, and them two were saved while Ghidorah and Godzilla were destroying Boston. And in this one, she comes up and goes, Dad, maybe there's a hollow earth where these monsters are all hiding. Shut up, love. You're crazy. Go back to school. What are you talking about? She was there. They're living in a world of giant monsters. Can not one of them just go, maybe we should look into it because there's fucking giant monsters outside? So maybe it's possible that the Earth's hollow as well. Every one of them.
But it's like that whole kind of thing of when one conspiracy theory gets found to be true, then every single conspiracy theory must be true. So you have to take that with a pinch of salt. When you look into things like even JFK, the man with the umbrella and all this jazz, you're like, well, let's look at Lee Harvey Oswald and the CIA. No. Let's look at the fucking aliens that shot him on the grassy knoll, and the guy with the umbrella, and somebody through a manhole came up. Well, right, okay, calm down.
But the irony of what you're saying is, the Hollow Earth theory in this film universe was true.
Yeah,
so they would look at it. But what I'm saying is, she's saying, come and look at this conspiracy theory because it might be true. And if the world is so crazy that giant lizards and fucking moths can fight outside, maybe what this guy's saying is true from our shared experience, Dad. And he's just still stood in his tent telling her to go about it and find. And again, I do not understand how two children and a crazy podcaster, yeah, I know he works for the company, but they end up deep into underground secure locations. They got on a private transport vehicle that took them to a different location. And not once did anybody...
A different country.
And not once did one of these top-notch security firm look at these two children running around and going, don't think you two should be here. I think we need to call you back.
There was a point where she walked into that military camp where her father was, and it was like, how did she get in? And then I thought to myself, obviously I've missed, the first movie where she's like high-fiving all the soldiers and the soldiers all know her and they let her in. And then the bit where the podcaster brings the both of them to his old workplace in the rubble, and he's able to, they're all able to find an elevator to get to sub-level 33. And in my imagination, I was like, well, obviously there's nobody there. And then they go down and everything's still in working order. Everybody's working there and there's still security downstairs. Why the fuck is the security not upstairs?
And every time I keep thinking back to this, every time I keep thinking, why would the humans do this? Why are the humans doing this? I just kept drawing back to, because I'm not here to watch them.
Yeah. Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a flying
ultimately.
Fuck. And at the end, they wrote this film the same way me and you would. Lizard Monkey Fight 1, Lizard Monkey Fight 2, giant robot, fucking missiles, Monkey Fight 3.
There should have been more monkey and lizard fights. There really should.
Yeah. So, which is your favorite?
I really liked Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
I really liked Mechagodzilla because it was something that I wasn't really expecting. And, I've only really known Mechagodzilla from South Park with Barbra Streisand. That's the really only fucking aspect that I've ever seen Mechagodzilla from. I really liked the battle on the sea, the first battle, obviously, where we see Godzilla and King Kong. I loved the kind of simple realism in obvious air quotes. when Kong is, can't breathe underwater and Godzilla's trying to rip him down and, trying to, he understands, Godzilla can understand that he doesn't breathe. But then the fighting, obviously jumping from one ship to the next. But how fucking floatable are those ships? Like,
Oh,
what the fuck? Like, what weight is fucking Godzilla? Like, genuinely, like he must weigh like the same as like fucking a city block. He is that fucking big. And then not even that, but to have Godzilla or King Kong on this fucking boat as well. And then they're fighting and the fucking buoyancy. The buoyancy was unbelievable. Well done to the US military. They are some fucking buoyant ships, I must say. I do have to applaud them on that.
One thing I did think from this was we obviously start with Kong doing his morning routine, which I thought was wonderful, having a shower and eating his breakfast, and then he's just like, right, now's the time I need to throw a big spear at the sky and try and figure out what's going on. It's fantastic. And
you're just expecting that song. It's a beautiful morning. Ding, ding.
I imagined it was like the one from Naked Gun. Woke up this morning feeling fine. And all I kept thinking throughout this was, this is Godzilla versus King Kong, and we're seeing an awful lot of Kong. Kong was the protagonist in this. Mm-hmm. And we've had two films with Godzilla. We've had one with King Kong. And it just almost felt like Godzilla was put on the back burner. Godzilla, they just showed up at a time when they needed it to seem like they were the bad guy.
But do you think they do that because they know that Godzilla would be a lot more powerful than what King Kong is?
No, what I'm talking about is I want to see more backstory with Kong, not Godzilla, not like a prequel, but I mean, I want to see why they're getting mad. And I know it was sort of secret and released in the bits about the story, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but I want to know why Godzilla suddenly goes from protecting people to getting pissed off at something that's going on in Hong Kong. I want to see a bit more. I mean, Kong, we learned that he can fashion tools, he gets showered on a morning, he knows sign language, we know who all his friends are, he travels to his home and sees his home world and gets a feel for his home world, and he sits on his throne and he gets his super axe, and Godzilla then just shows up for a scrap. And we saw so much about Kong, and I just wanted to see a bit more from Godzilla, to be honest.
And I think that's ultimately down to the fact that Godzilla would more than likely be overpowering. And, obviously the questions always arise as well about size, and we had like in Skull Island, yes, they explained Skull Island's set in 72, 73, something like that there.
Yeah.
And then in that they explain that it's an adolescent Kong and he will continue to grow. So Kong is at an adolescent age at that point, so he will keep growing and growing and growing. So they don't really give an actual height size. But as me and you explained, I think this was even on the fucking first podcast that we ever did. It was one of the first ones. Godzilla is a lot bigger than what fucking King Kong is, historically, because Godzilla is anywhere between 350 and 500 feet. But Kong has never been over, I think I was looking it up today, I don't think I've ever seen Kong explained to be over like 120 feet in anything.
Well, if you imagine Kong climbed up the Empire State Building and Godzilla can walk past it. You're talking, if you think about the Empire State Building, Kong's climbed up it while Godzilla would just be stood there waiting at the top. I got where they come from. I like the fact that they said, it's under containment, because I got the feeling, and I think they never explicitly said it, but throughout the whole film, when he went to the hidden world, and we thought that there was sort of the blue radiation going on, and I kind of got the feeling as he was crowned king, he was growing, and I think the size.
Okay.
I think if you compare how big he was at the start to how big he was at the end, I think he got a lot bigger during the film. Especially
right, okay.
That's what I thought anyway. But for me, I thought they were going to go down the route of when he were fashioning the tree trunk into a spear. I thought they were going to show that that's where Kong's advantage is. He might not be as big, but if he can start fashioning weapons out of certain things and fashioning tools, then it shows he's got his brains. Where Godzilla is more this wrecking machine, Kong is much more cognitive.
Well, they had that kind of, when they're having that battle in Hong Kong, and Godzilla's just fucking beam shooting out of his mouth and just wrecking everything. But fucking Kong is being, dexterous and fucking flying between buildings and,
Yep.
matrixing it, over fucking beams and stuff like that there. I enjoyed that bit. I really, really, really enjoyed the actual battle sequences in this movie. Like
That Hong Kong battle for me was the best fight scene in the movie. Probably the best sequence for me out of any of these MonsterVerse movies.
yeah,
For me, it was the use of color. You've got the bright neon lights. You've got the darkness of the city. You're still getting these two lit up by all the color going on. And what I loved was as the buildings were exploding around them, the smoke that was mixing with the color was looking like the powder paint going off. Those paint
yeah,
parties where you can throw the dry paint,
yeah.
and it was like an explosion of green, and they went into another building. It was an explosion of purple, and then reds, and I just thought it was stunning. It was whereas the last one was much more artistic with its shots, much more grand, much more epic in sort of scale. It was much more of a work of art, I'd say, the last film. Seeing Ghidorah just through the smoke and the fire behind the real sort of visual sort of shot. But whereas this, it was much more sort of, it was still stunning to look, but it was just using color in a lot of different ways, and I just thought it was incredible.
But I think that was part of the problem as well. I think of the movie, and again, I enjoyed it, but there was too few of those moments. And as you say, when you're watching it and you're watching the human bits, it's kind of like, why do I have to watch this? Yeah, I understand that they're trying to get to a point, and there has to be an end game to bring down Mecha Godzilla, but there was a point in the movie where it was in between the first battle and the next time that we see like a conflict. It was like 40 minutes, and it was like you pay your money to go see a movie, and if you were to you're like me, if I go to a fucking King Kong versus Godzilla movie, I want to fucking see balls to the wall. I want to see them fucking destroying the place. I would have loved if when they went down, they brought Kong to Hollow Earth, and he sits on his throne and he finds his axe and stuff like that there. If they had shown Godzilla there as well, or even off in a distance and things like that there, and I would have loved that to happen. I know he fucking shoots down through the earth because he senses like the axe, in the ground and what have you. But I would have loved there to have been a conflict, within the earth as well, and then coming up. How fucking cool would that have been? The two of them fucking fighting up through the tunnel and then busting out through fucking Hong Kong. Like that would have been unbelievable.
I would have. It's great to say it with a film like this that I want to see more. But
yeah.
When you look at Batman versus Superman, we had one fight, literally one fight, for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
In a
But I
two and a
think
half hour.
that's because and what we've learned now in the Justice League movie. Zack just loves his fucking meandering stories.
Yeah. And then you talk about maybe, okay, let's go to another versus film like Freddy versus Jason. Now that had a lot going on, in terms of Freddy versus Jason, but it was still sort of three key sort of fights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like they do it where, they give one win to one win to another. And then they always have 50-50 booking.
The rubber fight.
They've got to have the rubber fight at the end. And somebody put this, and I can't remember who it was. I think, you know what? I can't remember. I'm just going to say it was me.
Just say it was you. Yeah.
It was me. I had this thought, right? How great would it be? We're seeing these films, and all along, even from the first Godzilla film that came out in 2014, people said it's the human characters that fail these films because all we want to see is the monsters. Would you take a much shorter film, an hour and a half, of just Godzilla versus King Kong, not fighting, but you see Godzilla waking up on a morning and doing his normal routine, no script, no dialogue, no humans, and then somehow we see he's away off Skull Island, and Godzilla's doing the thing, and it's just almost a silent film, but of just the characters and creatures living their daily lives, coming into contact with each other, and then having these brawls. You can still have humans milling around, but absolutely no focus on them. The focus on the characters. They did it with Caesar in Planet of the Apes, where a lot of the story was built around, CGI motion captured characters just having no dialogue and just communicating with each other, and you can build a story. It's that whole thing of show don't tell. We don't need humans to tell us Godzilla's feeling this way because he's the king. Well, we better go get him his throne. Let's go down here. You don't need it. You can tell a story, and I think I'd love to see that, where the next one they make, just cut the humans out, make it
Yeah.
an hour-and-a-half film, and just tell us a story for grown-ups. You don't need to tell us.
I know what you're asking me, Paul. How to make these movies better? I've come up with one thing:
Go on.
King Kong with a jetpack.
Mecha King Kong.
King Kong with a jetpack, or they go down into Hollow Earth, because that's all. The question that we're all asking is, who built his fucking throne? Like, what master craftsman built a door in Hollow Earth?
There's the door, and then there's the big steps into the throne room.
Yeah, and the throne,
and the throne,
and the axe,
and the axe.
the technology that allows them to put the axe in the ground for the power, and then the fuck. Sorry, go ahead. I can see you.
Do you know? Well, do you know what I thought at one point with his axe? That's obviously what gets powered up so he can fight with it. I always thought it looked suspiciously like one of Godzilla's spine.
Yeah.
Looked like one of his fins. Well. And I'm wondering whether maybe Godzilla was pissed at Kong because one of his ancestors ripped one of his fins off and used it to make an axe, and that's why it can get charged up by Godzilla breath.
That is an interesting take. I didn't even think of that, and I'm really enjoying that now. Now I'm thinking of a third movie, and it's set in Hollow Earth, where it's tens of Kongs versus tens of Godzilla. Oh, fuck me, what a movie.
It's incredible. So did you get what
Go ahead.
Did you get what we're going on with the skull? The Ghidorah skull.
Yeah, but see, I know what Ghidorah is. I know what the Ghidorah thing is with the three heads. I understand that is one of them. Now, I don't understand the why it had to be one of them.
In the previous film, Ghidorah was obviously the antagonist, and at the very end, Charles Dance was seen buying one of the heads of Ghidorah off somebody. That was the post-credit scene. Okay. So he's obviously sold it on to somebody else. Now, how an animal's skull can be turned into a supercomputer to power a robot?
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand.
And you know what? Every time I kept having one of these, I just kept going back to, this is Godzilla versus fucking King Kong, and I'm loving this. And when we saw Mecha Godzilla, I thought that was incredible as well. I just thought, fuck it, let's go for it. And this is one of those toy box films where, imagine Adam Wingard, somebody comes to him and goes, go make a film. Go make a film about Godzilla versus King Kong. Right, I'm going to fight him on aircraft carriers, and he's have the two toys, and then he'll jump and Kong can swing between. You just have to suspend all.
Yeah, it is a complete leave your brain at the door movie. The story isn't that hard to follow. You know, it's literally, I've got a Hollow Earth. Okay, you want to go to Hollow Earth? Yes, let's go to Hollow Earth. I think we might need King Kong. Okay, hey, can King Kong come with us? I don't know. Okay, let's bring King Kong with you. And it's just literally like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
How did they get him on the net after he passed out on the boat? The next shot we see him with like 20 helicopters holding this net up.
Yeah.
Did they like have to roll him over onto it?
Well, but that's one of those questions as well that you just don't need to know the answer to. It just happened, but that's the good side about this movie. And as much as we do complain, most of our complaints are about the actual human aspects of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I texted one of my friends from work, and I said, everything with the humans in this, okay, most of what happened with the humans is awful. Everything with the monsters, first class. Yeah. It was visual, it was epic, it was grand in scale. Again, the final fight lasted probably a good 30 minutes across 3 different rounds almost. Mm-hmm. You know, your first round went to Kong, and then finally we got Godzilla sort of getting the upper hand on him, and he showed that sort of respect almost of saying, I'm not backing down, but you're going to have to kill me kind of thing. And then the teaming up. And that whole moment where the little girl tells him, you need to go help Godzilla here.
Yeah, he's not our enemy.
And again, I know that the director would have just had a field day with this. What does an action star do when they've just been beaten up and they have to go back in the fight? they put back in their dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, it's lethal. He lethal weaponed it. I
He
wrote that
lethal
down.
weaponed it.
He lethal weaponed it.
He lethal weaponed it, and King Kong just smashes his shoulder against the building. And I'm watching it, and you know what? We watched all the Man of Steel furore come out about how many people died, and I know it's different because Kong and Godzilla don't give a shit about killing people or not, but it's still that kind of And I know I love threw that one line in where they went, "We've evacuated Tokyo, Hong Kong." Oh, really? That was quick. Okay. And
Well,
as I'm watching it, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, they've all evacuated. And if you can't have one of those old Godzilla movies where the guy in the Godzilla suit trashes buildings made out of cardboard boxes, like from Power Rangers, when it turns into a Power Rangers where the gigantic ones are just crashing into buildings, and they're crashing into buildings and he's spearing him through ones, and I'm sure he does a rock bottom wrestling move on him at one point. It's just fantastic, and it's just forget all about the human carnage or why humans go here or whatever. The fact is they've brought these two titans together, and it's epic. Absolutely epic. Fantastic.
I can honestly say, with a hand on heart, never once did I think to myself, "Oh, I hope nobody was hurt." Like, no.
No, I'll be honest, I was in that kind of stroppy phrase because I was pissed off about all the human bollocks going on, and I'm like, that's really wound me up, that, because why would they do that? And why are you taking a child into the center of the earth, and suddenly they have to go through a portal to get into the earth, but suddenly Godzilla can blow up? What's going on? And then I'm watching it, I'm like, well, there's thousands of people dead there. There's thousands of people. And then eventually I just went, I don't give a fuck. Go King Kong, kick his ass. Go on, and get the fucking... And that moment where Godzilla charges up his axe. And I love the fact at the beginning they said there was going to be a decisive winner in this match. And we all know it's not going to leave to the death of one or the other. You can't make one of your money. You can't make King Kong look weak by being beaten by Godzilla, because then you want to do a King Kong film and he's the loser.
Yeah.
So you have Godzilla get the best of him, and quite frankly, Godzilla should get the best of King Kong. And I'll always just the way they did it, where they positioned it where Kong could have that killer blow against the shared antagonist. So Kong comes out on top. It still looks strong. They work together, but Godzilla's always got that in the back of mind of, I could take you.
Well, and the scene, right at the end scene, obviously, where Godzilla powers up Kong's axe, which I fucking loved as well.
Yeah, loved it.
As soon as he powers up, and there's that kind of acknowledgement between both of them, as you say, that Godzilla knows, listen, I could kick your fucking ass. But Kong goes, well, I've now got this powerful axe, and I'm just gonna fucking wreck this shit. But I enjoyed that. I did enjoy it. Everything. It had everything that a bro movie has, other than the fucking the Arnie Dylan fucking arm muscle handshake and Predator. That's what you want.
Son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, so how do we go on from here then? Because now there's hashtags, obviously, continue the MonsterVerse.
Well, there has. I would be honest with you. I've actually said to Rachel tonight, I was like, listen, I really fucking enjoyed this movie. I actually want to go and watch Godzilla, King of Monsters now. So I want to actually watch that. And then I said there as well, I was like, I think it's something that I might enjoy. I remember watching Skull Island, but I can't remember anything about it. So I might actually rewatch Skull Island. So if in my perfect world, obviously end scene Ned credits is Kong back in Hollow Earth. He's back here. So he doesn't want, that's his, all Kong wants is home. Kong wants home, and he doesn't want to do anything else. But they now have this kind of connection where if they need help up there, they get the wee girl to go down there and go, listen, boy, what the fuck? Get the fuck up here. There's something up here you need to deal with. And, who knows? He might find a mate down there, and then they might have an army of Kongs, and then somebody kills Kong's son, and then Kong's son's twin. Fucking just, everything, it's open.
I'll be honest, the Hollywood next step of this is a big Civil War kind of battle. I'm talking Godzilla, Mothra, King Kong, who else?
What monsters could be down there as well? What new monsters could be down there?
I'm not a big fan of the. Well, I'm not a big fan. I haven't watched all these, and I know there's other Mothras, and I
Yeah.
think there's a million and one different of these giant titans. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
There's even a Mecha Kong.
There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I just this. You can go, and I think the next step. You've had your hero. You've had your hero solo films. You've had them pair up. Now it needs to be an end game level Titans fighting all over the world kind of shit, and just go. There's aliens coming invading, and they're dropping big aliens on the planet, and you've got to go fight them. Ooh, call the King Kong, call the King Kong alarm. Ooh. I just want, yeah, I don't know where they can take it from here, but I think your way of watching them is a bit risky. I'll be totally honest, in my opinion. I think you're going to get steadily more pissed off, but go and enjoy it. Go back and revisit them. Kong Skull Island for me, I thought was great fun. I think it's a very misunderstood film. I think some people kind of don't take it for what it is, which is a movie about a giant fucking monkey. King of the Monsters was very disappointing for me. It looked fantastic, but the first one, I think it ramped up the problems with the first one into the second one. So Godzilla for me, it's like you're seeing Godzilla for 10 minutes at the end of the film. It's all shot from, murky camera angles, and it cuts off just before something happens with Godzilla. And we've just got Aaron Taylor Johnson moping his way around the scene. And you just think, cut the human stuff down, increase what we can see with the monsters going on. More monsters, please. And I just think they missed a trick. But this was fantastic. And I'll leave you on a thought that you said the Hollow Earth bit. The moment with Kong finding his feet in Hollow Earth, and he starts jumping between the sort of up and down and using gravity to help swing him around, and he's just floating there. And it really humanizes King Kong in a way that I've never seen anything else do. I was worried the little girl was going to be called Faye. I really thought.
Too on the nose. That'd be too on the nose.
I really thought they were going to call it Faye, but no. 50% a great, outstanding film.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's the business end of the episode out of the way. Have we? I sent you some trailers to watch this week.
Do you know what? I independently watched these trailers before you even sent them to me. How good's that? I'm fucking great.
Let's start with Black Widow. So Black Widow's had a second trailer or a third trailer to be pretty much reaffirming that it is going to be released in July now. From the numbers that we're going to talk about for Godzilla at a minute, I think people are fairly confident that movies can start turning a profit again, assuming, touch wood, everything stays as it expected with vaccines and whatever.
Let's just get this straight. Movies are still making a fucking profit. They're still selling these movies to places like Netflix.
Okay, cinemas can start making a profit again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't mean to be fucking.
Well, you a little bit, mind your naked. Right.
Right.
I'm going to say this. And I'd never say this on Twitter, so I'll say it to our 15 listeners. This is probably my least anticipated Marvel film.
I said it a year ago. I couldn't give a shit.
I really can't. I'm watching this. I'm getting nothing. It's the same feeling as watching the TV shows. This is I'm going to get ripped for this, but a B-level Avenger. It's a non-powered Avenger who is already dead. And all we're doing is seeing a film that sets up other characters to get brought back in a couple of movies' time. It's a setup.
Yeah, that's the reason that the WandaVision has really scarred me for the Marvel Universe, and it has really started to actually worry me as well, simply because I cannot trust the TV shows anymore. Because they aren't giving me what I was promised. Do you know what? Actually, maybe I'm just being very fucking selfish, because I expected the TV shows to lead into the movies, to show me something, to explain what's coming next. Even if they were to give you a little bit of a fucking taster, a wee bit of a grain of hope, but it didn't. WandaVision didn't give me anything. And the way that I'm looking at this movie now is you're literally just setting people up. And not even that, you're showing me people now who you're setting up to go into the Marvel Universe. I could not give two sweet fanny fucks about fucking about Black Widow's sister. I couldn't at all.
No, for me, it's a waste of a film. Give
Yeah.
Black Widow a film. You should have given Black Widow a film 10 years ago.
Yeah,
That's when you should have done
yes,
it.
100%.
There was absolutely nothing wrong with her having her own film 10 years ago. I don't need to see Budapest get filled in and explained why. I don't
Yeah.
need to see her blow up an orphanage because that's the red in her ledger. I don't need to see it. Leave some mystery to the character. Let us fill these gaps in our heads. Let us have fun with it. You know,
But do
let us
you know what
you
another
don't need to
thing?
answer every question, Marvel.
Another thing that's annoyed me. Is now I'm completely probably off base with this, right? But the guy who's shooting arrows at them, they obviously want us to think that that's Hawkeye, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not. But that, like, is that what they want? They want us to hold on to some certain little hope that these movies will all be connected in some certain way, you know. And as you say, explain Budapest, you know, explain all this stuff. And they have this guy shooting arrows at them, so everybody in their head is going now, oh, that's Hawkeye, but hold on, might not be Hawkeye because, you know, Agatha, you know, what didn't do what we wanted her to do, and what, and you know, what if, why, how, and that's what I'm in at the minute.
I'd put a tenner right now on the Taskmaster, who is that character. Is it Taskmaster?
Mm-hmm.
I'd put that on being Rachel Weisz. I would.
Right, okay.
Is that
supposed to be her mum?
She was. I don't know whether she was a. Comic book fans will probably know who Melina Vostok is, but she's obviously linked to this Red Room and the Black Widow program in Russia and this and the other. But I really won't be shocked to find out that it's, you know, the one person who in the whole film, in all the trailers, is being sold as a mentor and somebody she's reconnecting with the past is actually the person that's trying to kill her through the whole film. I really won't. Like I said, Marvel are just becoming a little bit formulaic with that, and if that's true, I'll be disappointed. But no, we'll see. But like I say, I'm genuinely on hindsight, yeah, I shouldn't have been excited for things like Thor: The Dark World, but I was excited to see the next one. It was the next one after the Avengers films. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And this is, like I say, it's a prequel. It's filling in gaps between two films we've already seen for an Avenger who a lot of fans I would not think they'd put in their top 4.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's always 5, but I don't think that. I just don't think they'd put in the top 3. Then I really don't. You know, I don't think a lot of people would go, "Oh, Black Widow's my favorite," and it's nothing to do with sex. It's just due to the fact that she's just somebody who can kick and shoot good. She's not a God of Thunder. She's not in an Iron Man suit. She's not Captain America, and they should have done this.
I'll say what you don't want to say, Paul.
Go on.
Is she going to be missed in the MCU? And the answer is no.
Wrath of Man, the new Guy Ritchie film, got a trailer this week.
Mm-hmm.
The plot follows H, or H, as Jason Statham. H, a cold and start again, shall I? A cold and mysterious character working at a cash truck company responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars around Los Angeles each week. So basically, it's the transporter in a working vending cash trucks. You know, there's going to be a lot of clever, witty dialogue. There's going to be backwards and forwards. There's going to be a lot of guys. There's probably one guy who's going to be called like some clever cunty Cockney name or whatever. You know, look, I enjoyed Man from U.N.C.L.E. I enjoyed The Gentleman.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I enjoyed King Arthur.
No, I can't agree with you there.
Don't tell anyone, but I didn't think it was that bad.
It was fucking. It wasn't bad. It was fucking terrible. Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse.
It really couldn't have been. It was shit.
Don't tell anyone how I feel. I mentioned it and tried to get away with it. You going to watch this?
Yeah. Listen, I think me and you have discussed this before. I really like Guy Ritchie. Yes, he's made a couple of turkeys. Yes, he, maybe isn't the greatest when it comes to outward thinking storylines and, dialogue. But listen, I enjoy it. I fucking loved Lock, Stock. I loved Snatch. I love Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I love
I love,
Snatch.
yeah, yes, I love Snatch.
I love Snatch. I think it's
Yes, I
great.
love Snatch. I love Snatch as well. I absolutely love Snatch. Really do. Really, really love Snatch.
I really enjoy it every time I can. I enjoy Snatch.
I enjoy Snatch often. But yeah,
Grow,
but
grow
I
up.
really like. I grew up. I really like the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah.
I like how Guy Ritchie makes movies, and I
Best
will watch this.
best thing he ever did was divorcing Madonna.
Yeah, and Eddie Martin's in the movie too. So Eddie Martin's in it. Anything that Eddie Martin's in, I will watch.
Hancock.
Maybe not Hancock, but anything else.
I enjoyed Hancock.
It was
I
shit.
enjoyed the first hour and 20 minutes of Hancock. And then it got crazy.
Until Charlize Theron became a superhero.
That was it. And then we saw the trailer for the sequel to Ready Player One that's coming out. LeBron James stars in Ready Player One, the sequel. So obviously he meets. Oh, hang on. Oh no, it's Space Jam. It's not Ready Player One. It looks an awful lot like it. This is.
I genuinely was thinking to myself, what the fuck is he talking about here? I didn't watch. Is Ready Player 2 already out? The book came out 6 months ago. What the fuck?
This is the sequel to the R. Kelly hit from the late 90s.
Are we going to get an R. Kelly song? Please.
I don't think they're going to let R. Kelly get it.
I believe I can swim. I believe I can, get a lift to a police station. I believe.
Okay. Just to let you all you viewers,
R. Kelly's a rapist. He's a rapper. He rapes people.
No. Just so you're ultimately sure, I Believe I Can Fly is not going at the end of this episode.
It has to.
That nonsense bastard isn't trapped in a closet, baby. Please, if you don't pay for it, don't click on any of his YouTube channels. Go to a third party who's downloaded it and reposted it on YouTube. But find what was the full opera called?
Isn't it Trapped in a Closet or something?
Trapped in a Closet. The Trapped in a Closet opera from R. Kelly. Like I said, don't click on his official YouTube channel because you'll end up paying him even a little bit. So don't.
Do you know what you can do as well? Listen to Aziz Ansari on Spotify, and he tells a couple of very, very funny stories about R. Kelly, going to R. Kelly concerts. So if you want to fucking laugh, go on Spotify and listen to Aziz Ansari doing stand-up and his bits on R. Kelly. Fantastic.
So this is LeBron James, basically.
Is R. Kelly in it?
NBA superstar teams up with Bugs Bunny and the rest of the Looney Tunes for this long-awaited sequel. So basically, Looney Tunes play basketball with modern star Don Cheadle, friend of the podcast, or we hope he is.
And yeah, personal friend of myself.
Personal friend of is in this. We've got a variety of different voice actors and stuff, and I'm not going to even go through them all because some of them might be actual spoilers. But this is Looney Tunes. But this was relying really heavily on like Game of Thrones, and it had all sorts of shit popping up in this. And
I've got the new tagline for Space Jam 2. Do you want to hear it?
Well, please.
Space Jam 2, the movie no one wanted.
Apparently, a lot of people did, and then.
What, LeBron James, because he wanted fucking 40 million more pound in his pocket?
No, a lot of people wanted Space Jam 2, and then it turned to 1999, and everyone grew the fuck up, and now nobody wants it because nobody watches Looney Tunes. I don't see them on telly anymore. The classics, anyway. Modern stuff they do, like Looney Tunes Babies and shit like that, but the classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons. The Godzilla cartoon was a Hanna-Barbera. Godzilla. 130 feet tall, you know.
Godzuki.
And Godzilla. But yeah, look, I've never seen Space Jam 1. I probably would because I've heard Bill Murray's in it.
Whoa. You've never seen Space Jam?
I've never seen Space Jam. It just doesn't interest me.
It's a fucking great movie.
I don't even know the rules of basketball. Put the ball in the net, that's about it. I don't get the rest of it.
Slam dunk.
The amount of my basketball knowledge comes from the movie Teen Wolf, where I know that if you get barged over, you get 2 3-point throws and one of them goes in and you win.
Where the guy in the stands had his cock out in the bleachers, yeah.
Yeah, he just had his cock out.
Back to talking about cocks. We get in with cocks, we leave with cocks. See you later, everybody. Good night.
So the news. Speaking of Godzilla vs King Kong, it's actually done pretty well. 27.9 million in its first 3 days alone at the US box office, which, considering nobody's going out yet and people are vaccinated and things, 30 million for an opening. I you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it did like maybe 60 million, 70 million anyway. It's probably done about half of what it normally would. I can't imagine it doing much more than that, to be honest. But the last few have been dipping. But this would have got good reviews. I know it would have done. It grossed 11.6 on Friday. Basically, it's got it's tracking to do a $42 million opening over a 5-day Easter weekend. It's the biggest showing from the COVID crisis so far. It's playing in 3,064 theatres, which is a high. Basically, more than now, 93% of America's cinemas are opening up again. All the areas in which they are starting to come out of lockdown, but only 24% in Canada. Now, what they're saying is, obviously, they're seeing this as a massive positive for the film. It's broken the 3-day opening for the pandemic, which was Wonder Woman, which opened over Christmas. So, look, I think it's a very good sign for cinemas moving forward that this is actually.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Joe
Biden.
A film you love, Knives Out, is getting
I seen this news, Paul, and I swear to God, the anger that built up in me when I seen this, anger.
First of all, you're whole. Second of all, why don't you like Knives Out? Because
I've explained to you.
It is one of the most original, clever.
What's original? The only thing that's original in it is they give the killer at the start of it. That's it. There's nothing else. If you want to watch a good whodunit, watch Gosford Park. Just fucking watch that. You know, if you want to watch Poirot, go watch a fucking episode of Poirot. That's 10 times better. The only reason people like this is because it's got fucking Captain America in it. That is it.
You don't understand the nuance of Rian Johnson's writing.
Balls, and he can go fuck himself too. He ruined Star Wars, Paul, and you know that.
I just don't think you understand the film, to be honest.
I
don't think you understood
it. I understand. I understand every single bit of it.
Next week we're going to be doing Knives Out.
We are fucking not going to be doing Knives Out. You can do Knives Out, and I'll do Gosford Park.
Both at the same time. Yeah. Well, it was really fun. So basically, Rian Johnson has been talking about writing a sequel to the superb 2019 whodunit Knives Out, and Netflix it was layered like an onion, okay. And basically, Netflix have announced that they're going to be paying $450 million, no, $400 million, excuse me, for the right to make and broadcast 2 sequels to Knives Out. So Benoit Blanc is going to be coming to Netflix with 2 new films. I am excited.
Oh God! Is this gonna turn into what Daniel Craig's gonna have as a fucking lifestyle now after he leaves Bond? He's left Bond now behind. I'm gonna put on this really fucking stupid American accent from now on, and I'm just
I do believe
Foghorn fucking Leghorn. Just Foghorn Leghorn.
Well, I say, boy, the murderer came in through these doors. I loved it. I think Benoit Blanc is a fantastic character.
Loved it.
Loved it. I came home smiling.
Fuck. Did you get a blowjob in the cinema?
No, I didn't. I had a great time.
If I'd have got a blowjob after watching the movie, I might have come out of it going, that was okay. But
I think it was an excellent critique of what was happening in America at the time, which you obviously didn't understand. There was certain very subtle hints towards America's attitudes towards immigrants in that film, and I don't think you saw them to really understand.
So that's the reason. That's the reason why you've enjoyed that movie, because the subtle inclusion of what Americans think of immigrants.
No,
That's
it
it.
just shows what a layered script it was and what a layered screenplay and how many different elements it can draw together to build one
Well,
complete
that's
piece.
just one. That's just
Yeah.
one element. Tell me another one.
Wow, if only we had a podcast where we could devote an entire episode to it. No,
No,
go fuck
no.
yourself. Russell Crowe's joined Thor: Love and Thunder. So basically, Taika Waititi's hiring every Australian actor there is, an actress there is. Taika Waititi is bringing employment back to Australia.
Listen, Peter Jackson did it with Lord of the Rings. You know, fucking Taika Waititi is fucking bringing all these actors out of the woodwork. Sam Neill's definitely in it as well, isn't he? Sam Neill's definitely there. Oma's finest.
Well, who did he play in? Because basically, what I think.
He was the actor. He was the
Yeah,
actor.
did he play Thor? He played Thor. No, he didn't play Thor, did he? He played
He was Odin.
Odin. Liam Hemsworth, or the other Hemsworth that nobody knows and likes, the shitty Hemsworth, discount Hemsworth. He was playing Thor. Matt Damon was Loki. Now, apparently in this one, Melissa McCarthy is going to be playing Hela, and it's going to include a reenactment of Thor Ragnarok and Endgame. So some people are suggesting that Russell Crowe may well be playing, because they're deep into filming now, so I doubt he's going to be having anything sort of significant. So I wouldn't be surprised if he might be playing a bit of a comedy role as Thanos or something. I think.
Well, I will say something. I have literally only watched Jojo Rabbit last week.
Please tell me you like it.
It was outstanding. I fucking loved it.
It was amazing. Beautiful.
Like, genuinely, I would watch Taika Waititi clean his car, because that is just it. I would watch him do anything. I enjoy everything that he does. Anything that he touches. You know, even like when I love Flight of the Conchords. Me and the missus love Flight of the Conchords. We went down to Dublin to see them live. When I found out that Taika Waititi helped write some of season 2 and direct some of the episodes in season 2 and season 1, I fucking lost my mind. And I was like, I can't believe he had his hands in that. And then when you go to things like What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, and the TV show, then you obviously Hunt for the Wilder People, you know, and then he touches fucking, you know, Jojo Rabbit, and then he touches the Marvel Universe. Now he's in the Star Wars. I would watch anything as long as it has his name on it.
Yeah, I saw Jojo Rabbit. That was one of the last films I saw. I saw that in January 20. And then I saw Tenet last year, so I think I only went to the cinema twice last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Jojo Rabbit, I came out of that, and it was just such. It's filmmaking. That's what filmmaking is.
The performances in it.
Performances, the story.
Like, I genuinely, like me and Rachel were talking about it afterwards, and we even let Ernie watch it. We let our son watch it, and he loved it as well.
Yeah.
And I cannot for the life of me think how none of them people who are acting in that movie got, you know, every single fucking award. Sam Rockwell, just outstanding in everything that he has ever touches. It genuinely annoys me when I think that they didn't win everything. And I'm not talking about one or two, everything.
Yeah. We'll do Jojo Rabbit another day, but look, it's one of those. I think it's an absolutely beautiful film. I really do, for the what it handles, for the way it handles it, and the characters that you don't have a lot of time. You know what I mean? You don't have a lot of time to tell these stories, but it really felt like this living, breathing town, and I was involved in all these characters' lives, and you already understand the importance of what was going on and for what was happening in it. And I think there was one moment in particular that was, Waititi's really good at moving from comedy to sort of drama and sadness very quickly, and it's like a roller coaster. It drops you off, and there was one moment in particular which I'm not going to mention right now, but it really sort of snapped you back into the horror that was going on around you.
There's more than one. There's more than one part in that movie that does that. You know, there is several, as you say, very, very well said. It is fucking roller coaster. It is like the heights of characters, and then the depths and lows of characters. Fantastic. But sorry for going off on one. Yes.
No, you did right. You do
fucking
right.
Fantastic.
So, speaking of World War II,
no,
Woody Harrelson has signed up to play a physician of Himmler in the film The Man with the Miraculous Hands. So he signed up to play The Man with the Miraculous Hands. It's an independent movie coming from Jericho Films. It's based on the Joseph Kessel novel The Man with the Miraculous Hands, the fantastic story of Felix Kirsten, Himmler's private doctor. It's being produced by Eric Jellerman, and it's coming from the same sort of people who brought various films such as Rampart and the more sort of serious Woody Harrelson roles that have been coming out over the last few years, as opposed to the Venom sequel that we're probably going to get from him from. So I think this is an opportunity for Woody Harrelson to sort of stretch his acting chops. I don't think we're going to get some kind of hillbilly-esque piss take of World War II. I think this is going to be a much more serious Woody Harrelson role. And I look.
Do you think now, having obviously talked about Jojo Rabbit, that this is where a lot of the current movies will head to, that kind of brilliance of comedy and horror, spliced in together?
I think it's a very difficult balance to get right.
Oh, terribly difficult, yeah.
And if you get it wrong, you look like you're mocking things. Jojo, going back to Jojo Rabbit, but Jojo Rabbit had that right level of balance. You're talking about a young boy who's in the Hitler Youth who fantasizes that Hitler is his best friend. It can be seen as mocking very quickly, and it wasn't. A film like this, it's either going to be drama, but look, Woody Harrelson in recent times has done all the usual, your Hunger Games and Now You See Me and all that shite. But he's appeared in sort of True Detective, he's been in Rampart.
Harrelson's a very good dramatic actor.
He is Triple Nine.
There's a few actors who can kind of go from comedy to drama, very easy and effortlessly. And I believe Harrelson's one of them.
Yeah, and it's one of those films which it could go either way. I think it could be quite boring and meandering, or I think they could tell a very sort of unique story very quickly and very well. So I'm interested in that. I just thought that was quite it's one of those unusual names to see sort of Woody Harrelson come up as Himmler's physician. So again, if it's told respectfully and it's done well, I think I could have fun with that. I like my historical stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. So Godzilla vs King Kong. I feel we need to start grading films. How do we grade? Should we give them a grade, like a school grade, or stars?
I don't think we're good enough to do that.
We are who we are.
We are who we are. I'm sorry, we're breaking the song there.
I would give Godzilla vs King Kong B+.
How many dicks out of 5 would you give it? How many King Kong dicks would you give it out of 5?
3 King Kong dicks out of 5.
I would give it 3.5 King Kong dicks.
3 and a testicle.
Okay.
But yeah, look. So I'm so glad I went to see that as the cinema. The flight to America nearly killed me, but I managed to see that in the pictures.
Okay, I've got a game for you.
Oh, I like games.
Okay, so I got this off BuzzFeed. All right.
No, so, the height of journalistic quality of BuzzFeed.
Well, they're good for fucking games. So
yeah,
here we go. Right. So destroy a city, and we'll tell you what giant monster you are. All right. So number 1, how do you reach the city you're set to destroy? By land, by sea, from the skies, through an interdimensional portal? You fall from outer space, or from the depths of the earth? Land, sea, skies, portal, space, or depths of the earth?
I think I'm a land kind of guy. A land kind of monster.
Okay. Which restaurant would you devour in a single bite? McDonald's, KFC, Subway, Panda Express, Taco Bell, or Krispy Kreme donuts?
I think it's got to be KFC. If you know me, I once managed to. I think in fact, you were with me when I managed to trade a KFC boneless fillet for a single red rose from a woman in the street.
I was there. Yeah.
I was really,
She was fucking hungry, Paul. You sick bastard.
I
Anyway.
was, no, I was really depressed because I just broke up with a relationship and I'd just been fired, and I was talking to this. What I don't even know. She didn't even speak English, did she? She was trying to sell red roses, so I ended up
So
swapping one for a chicken fillet.
obviously a Romanian lady. All right, let's get on with the quiz here, Paul. Not
Oh, sorry.
stop the xenophobia. All right.
I'm
What would you use to destroy the city? Radioactive breath, huge claws, fire, lots of fire. Your entire body is a weapon, an army of many robots, supernatural powers. So radioactive breath, claws, fire, your entire body, mini monsters, or supernatural powers.
I like the idea of storming round and just breathing fire and everything like a dragon. Just
Fire,
breathe,
lots of
laying
fire.
waste, burnt, scorched earth.
Okay,
Like
so
that.
you come across a skyscraper. You
Oh, I'm sorry, I've got very excited. But
you don't even notice anything that small. Climb on it to get a better view of all your destruction. Go through it, topple it as if it were nothing. Use it as a base for your evil plan, or eat it.
I'd just go through it. I'd just be
Go
charging
through
down the road. I'd have my bucket of KFC. I'd be breathing fire on everything. I'd be breathing fire. It's firing out everywhere. And then I'd come across a building and I'd just shoulder charge it through the middle of it and keep on running, eating boneless banquet.
Okay. So, what's most important when you are destroying a city? A question that we always ask ourselves. That there's nothing left, showing everyone that you're the king, harming no civilians, clearing it so others like you can inhabit it, eating everyone, or opening a cosmic portal to reach several worlds.
I don't want to open several worlds because I couldn't do with that many friends. That's just too. That's just too many
Jesus,
people.
what, 7?
Yeah, that's just too big of a social circle. I just couldn't handle that kind of admin all in one go. You know, suddenly you've got like phone numbers and WhatsApp groups and fuck that. Right,
So
eating
there's
everybody.
nothing.
Got my
Eating
KFC,
everybody?
so I don't need to eat everybody. So I've got my KFC. So probably lay waste to everything. I don't want anything to be left. If I'm destroying a city, I'm making sure it's all gone.
Okay, there's nothing left. Right. So, how would your enemies defeat you? With a robotic counterpart similar to you, having
Jeez.
someone incredibly sexy captivate you. Ooh, look at my hand running across captivate.
Captivate.
With a weapon specifically designed to destroy you. With a giant robot. I think that's very much like the first one, though. Closing the portal from which you arrived. Well, you didn't arrive from a portal. With many, many weapons.
It's probably the seduction thing.
Oh, I thought you would go for that. As soon as you hear the word sexy, you go,
I'll
oh,
be
here
honest.
you go.
I'll be honest.
Paul, and who are you? You are
Who am I?
King
King
Kong.
King Dong. Thank you very much.
You put up a mean, aggressive front, which makes you come across a little bit scary to people. But it's the world that made you this way. Deep down, you're noble and affectionate, and you want to protect those you love.
That's probably more accurate than a horoscope.
There you go. Fucking Mystic Meg has fuck all, and you don't need to read Mystic Meg in the mirror. Does she still do that shit in the mirror?
I don't know. She used to do it in the sun. Or was that? I can't remember. I don't read the fucking sun. But that's pretty accurate. Yeah, the world carved me this way. A strong, powerful exterior, muscular exterior, with a heart of gold, who just wants to eat KFC.
And no friends.
No friends. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's perfect.
Well, it's almost as if I set that up to be King Kong, but it wasn't. I didn't do that at all. So there you go.
No, I can go away now with my powerful masculine body, with a jelly cuddly woodly inside, and sleep well tonight knowing I'm King Kong. Did you do it? Did you do the
I did, yeah.
Were you King Kong as well? Is everybody King Kong or Godzilla in association with the new film out?
I was actually Smaug. It told me I was greedy. Yeah, I didn't come out well in it at all. Like, I'll be honest with you.
No, it just says you greedy, self-centered bastard. Oh, hang on.
Basically.
That's a text from my wife. Sorry. As you sat there eating your bucket of chicken. So why did my fire breathing? Why did that come to King Kong?
I don't know, but I think that was if we'd have probably chosen something else after the seduction one, after the sexy one, it would have been probably something different.
Oh yeah, that's it. In it, King Kong, he would have been seduced.
Yeah.
I would admit that
King Kong has big balls and he loves the ladies.
he does love the ladies, whether they are deaf children or
Oh,
lingerie-clad Naomi Watts. He loves the ladies. So what we're doing next week? I'll tell you what we're doing next week. The next in our series, we've officially got a series. We tried to take the series off with the Video Nasties series, and we did one.
I love the fucking Video Nasty one. It was fucking great.
Well, we'll do one for your birthday episode. And then we will, next week, we'll be talking about the Captain America trilogy. So we'll talk about First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War, which, of course, is a trilogy, isn't it, Cormac?
I'm not getting into this again. It's not a trilogy, but I'll watch them anyway because it's you know your way you get a run around of movies. Harry Potter's probably there somewhere to be watched in the next few weeks, and I'll have to recycle through a couple of other series. But I think Marvel's about time to get hit again as well. Like,
oh god, you know what? I've seen. I can't remember how many of the Harry Potter films I've seen.
I've seen them all, and I love them all. I love them all.
Really?
I'm a very, very big fan of Harry Potter.
I think I just went off it because I know the ex loves it, so I just didn't bother. I was like, I can't bother watching them again.
All right, fucking hell.
I had to go see the last
bring
one.
Bring it down. I had to bring the fucking mood down. Oh, me ex.
Shut up. I had to go see the last. Shut up. I had to go see the last one with her, and I hadn't seen the two before it. So I'm like, they're talking about Dumbledore dying and things split up in different things and bits.
I'm going to break something. I'm going to break something to you. It wasn't specifically made for your ex-girlfriend. You can enjoy it also, you know.
Really?
If it was specifically made for your ex-girlfriend, nobody else would have seen it. It wouldn't have got past the first movie. So you can go and enjoy it by yourself.
Oh, thanks, man. Cheers. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
No, when you're thinking back and you're like, I always said I didn't enjoy that stuff and I'm not going to start enjoying it now. And I just don't enjoy it. I don't get it. It's little kids being wizards and witches and Hufflepuffs and Griffin pokes and
as opposed to fucking Tesseracts and fucking people dressed up in fucking Captain America outfits. Opposed to what?
That is based on science fact. Okay.
Wow.
As opposed.
I've seen magic, Paul. I've seen people get rid of fucking blood clots with their hands. Harry Potter's world is more to me than the Marvel universe.
J.K. Rowler enabler. You're enabling J.K. Rowling.
Bye, everybody.
Well, we're going to go count up all the red herrings from Knives Out. See you next week.
We're not.